Hello everyone, we've just picked up this tumble dryer. It's a AEG Lava Therm Protex tumble dryer. It was billed as a condenser dryer and I won it in an eBay auction for £1. What a beauty, eh? I like these AEG machines. The owner said it had a squeak, which I'm not necessarily worried about. I mean, might just be a mouse in there, let's face it, but they're nice machines and very easy to operate. So let's plug it in and see what happens. So the tank and the filler light's on. So we have tank and filter light. Will it start with the lights on? I think it's going to go. So display is working, it's all working, it's turning. Yeah, it's very bright out here, but you can see the display, it's adequately bright for a kitchen or something like that. Yeah, so I can't hear any squeaks. Can you hear any squeaks? No, we can't hear any squeaks at the moment. So all in all, quite a tidy tumble dryer for a £1 and a 10-minute drive. Right, we're going to run it for a bit and we'll come back and see if it's working. Okay, it's been going for about 15 minutes now, and let's see if it's warming up. It's stone cold, so yeah, no heating in this tumble dryer for a £1 tumble dryer. Got the filter here in the door, which looks okay, looks pretty clean. Nothing in there. That's the condensate drawer, that's pumped up from the bottom of the tumble dryer, and the condenser fills this tank up when it's full, the light comes on. Right, okay, anyway, so time to investigate, because this is not working. It's turning, the lights are on, but no heat. So let's quickly whip the covers off and we'll get into it and see what we can find. Yeah, to get these things open you have to take the lid off. The top cover comes off and it's held on with 2 screws, one here and one over here on the right side. And then you need a Torx T15 screwdriver bit. T15 Torx. Just whip the screws out. Put them in the box. Pull the lid back towards you and the lid comes off. So I think the heating element on the condenser unit is underneath this cover, but I want to just take the side off and just to see if there's anything obvious going on in this side. The controller's at the top over there. We want to take this side panel off and have a look underneath to see what we can find. Investigation is the name of the game. So it screws down the side. There we go. Is that all there is, Simon? Do you remember?
That's all of it.
Yeah. And then you lift it up over this top part. Oh no, yeah. The cover comes off. Ah, look at that. Yeah, well, it was advertised as a condenser tumble dryer. And can you spot the difference? Why this isn't a condenser tumble dryer? Yeah, it's got a heat pump in it. This is the compressor for the heating system. So it's full of refrigerant, pumps the refrigerant round, compresses it, heat exchanger, condenses the water, and uses about 1/4 as much electricity as a normal condenser tumble dryer. So this is quite a nice dryer. I think they're probably about £600 or £700 new, this model, and it's virtually the same, the new model. Not too much fluff has built up inside. Some of the hot points when you open them up are absolutely full of fluff and a big fire risk inside, but this one's looking pretty good. And generally the belt looks like it might have been changed actually. That looks like a pretty new belt to me. Let's concentrate on the mountain ham. We've got no heat, okay? And the heat in this model won't be vicious heat, maybe 30 degrees. You'll be noticeably warm to the touch, but it won't be very warm. It works by blasting dehumidified dry air over the washing, and you get maximum evaporation when you've got very low humidity in the air being pumped round. So it's recycling the air through like a condenser dryer, but it's using this as a heat source instead. It takes much longer to dry the clothes, mind you, so if you don't mind your clothes being worn out. So this is the compressor. Consists of, well, the compressor, the pipe work and the heat exchanger, which is like a radiator for the coolant in there underneath where the airflow is going through in the front. We'll have a look at that in a moment. And its job is just to compress the gas, and when the gas pressure has been released and the heat's been exchanged, comes back in, recompresses it in a closed cycle. So this has got the compressor. It's a sealed unit, you can't do much with it. The gas can leak out. We don't know if we've got gas leaked out. If the gas is leaked out, we'll have to refill it and find out whether there's a leak first. So if you do refill it, always check for a leak in the system before. So turn it on. Now we've got to assess whether this compressor is working. They don't, all machines don't always turn the compressor on immediately when you start the tumble dryer, because there is moisture sensing elements inside, which is basically checking the continuity of the washing between two pieces of metal which are inside to assess the dampness of the washing. So some machines don't turn the heat on immediately until they've gone through this process of assessing whether there's any damp washing inside, i.e. does it need drying or is it already dry. Now, so I'm not sure what this will do, but if you have a condenser dryer, I'm thinking, what's the make of your tumble dryer, the other one we did last? Top, what's the make? AEG or no?
Possibly AEG actually.
I think it's possibly AEG, but on that machine it wouldn't heat up unless there was some wet washing, so we got a wet cleaning cloth and chuck that in there, and then we got contact on the heating element. So beware, you might need some wet washing in to test this. I'm not sure in the case of this one. Now I can't feel that doing anything. Normally when it's running you will get a vibratory hum, and you'll be able to feel vibration on this bottle here. This is the compressor actual body. It's in a sealed can. The motor and the compressor unit is inside, so it's all working under the pressure with the pressurized refrigerant held in place, recycling it, recirculating it. So I can't feel anything happening. There's no, I'm pretty sure that what I can feel is just the vibration from the rotating drum. Obviously be careful you don't get your fingers caught in anything, and don't touch anything electrical. So don't do this unless you know what you're doing, or you think you know what you're doing. Otherwise don't come to me if you lose your finger. No, we're just going to run that for a few minutes and we'll come back to you and see if it warms up. Come on. Yeah, so it's been going like 15 minutes. Everything is just completely stone cold. There's no vibration from this. If this was vibrating, and noticeable, you could feel it in your hand vibrating, then it's likely the compressor has failed or your gas has leaked out. In this case, this bottle is warm, but nothing's happening apart from that's going to reverse direction. So the compressor isn't running, so that's our first problem. So the question is, do we have any power on our compressor?
Okay.
Right, so the power is off. The power is not disconnected. I'm going to reach down and unplug. So before you start poking around inside, unplug the blighter, otherwise it'll bite you. And my dad always used to say, keep one hand in your pocket, because what kills you is a shock across the chest between your arms. So one hand on here, one hand on there. You've got the power going straight through your heart, which is not good. So he was always taught by his dad, who worked for the Midland Electric Company, to always have one hand in your pocket so that you can only connect with one hand. Also, of course, wear good rubber boots, but Dad liked wearing rubber boots anyway. So yeah, the first thing to suspect, it's getting warm, there's no vibration, the motor in there is not running. They are generally reliable, but half the time, or a quarter of the time, it's the compressor or the gas has leaked out. But the first thing to check to make sure, before you start looking at the difficult things to fix, the things to do is to check the easy things to fix. And obviously you have to check all these plugs are in properly and look at the plugs to make sure nothing has fallen out. But the actual capacitor, the motor running capacitor for this compressor is down here, stuck underneath, right? Now we can just pull the connections off, alright, and the easiest way to do this is if you have a multimeter and with a capacitance range on it. Now, I don't know what the value of that capacitor is supposed to be, but I suspect it's somewhere between probably 12 and 25 microfarads, 400 volts. Can you see that? Can you see that screen?
Yep.
You can actually see can you see the digits on it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's useful. There. About that?
That's okay.
Right, so anyway, we're on capacitance, we have connection. Let's just see what we're getting. Yeah, so that capacitor is 14 nanofarads, which is essentially, it's not capaciting at all, it's open circuit. And these are what are called self-healing capacitors, and as bits of the mylar film with the aluminium coating break down, the aluminium vaporizes to remove the short, so they heal, but eventually they heal themselves away to nothing, and this is what's happened with this one. It's a shame because they are just low quality components. You can get ones that are 30 years old that still work fine, but these cheap nasty ones are a major cause of misery for the users of domestic appliances. So in this case I think we may have struck it lucky, and this cap might be the culprit. Now this cap, from experience I know that this cap is held with a screw at the back. There's like an aluminium boss on the back of the cap with a slot in it, and there's a clamp screw which is under the motor. You do not want to be able to have to strip all this down to get to that screw. So what I do is I just grab hold of it like that and give it a good twist, and it'll just come out. Okay, and what I've done is just rotated this detail there out of the holder at the back. Clearly we can't put it back in, but what we're going to do is just stick a dab of silicone on there and glue it to this surface down here. Perfectly fine, not inflammable. You can get these capacitors with a plastic case, and they're a white plastic case, but do not use plastic case capacitors in tumble dryers, because when they fail they can shoot out a big plastic, very very hot sparking sausage of material that's extruded through the side of the case. It goes bang, and then if it's full of fluff it's going to catch fire. So only use the metal case ones in tumble dryers. Okay, and now the other thing you'll notice about this, when you start searching around for this cap, you can see it's 18 microfarads plus 2, or minus 2 plus 8%. So it's quite a high tolerance capacitor. It's a Ducati made in Romania, which is an alarm bell. The Romanian capacitors are not good, they do not last long. And here we have for the stock room a 15 microfarad plus or minus 5%. So 5% of 15 is 1.5 microfarad, so this could be a 16.5 microfarad. It's close enough for jazz, trust me. 50 to 60 hertz, 450 volts AC. So it's a generator. It's about £8 I think, these from Amazon. It's going to work just fine, but bear in mind we haven't got the actual fixing detail here, so I'm just going to put a blob of silicone under here and plant it, wipe this surface in here clean, wipe that clean, and just put silicone and fix it in position like that. But the first thing let's do, let's just demonstrate the measurement of this to see what we actually have got in the way of capacitance, which will be interesting. Can you see the meter sign? You can see that? Can you read the display?
Yeah.
So, wait for it. 15.10 we've got. So it's spot on actually. It's a few microfarads shy of what the other one was, but I don't believe the other one anyway. It's just a badging exercise which makes you buy the original part. Now we just clip this back on. Doesn't matter which way round the connections go, as long as they don't both go on the same one. That's a little bit loose actually. Maybe the, well, that one's very loose. Or has the crimpers pushed out when I pulled it, or pulled out when I pushed it. Yeah, that one's okay. Make sure they are a good fit. If this is not a really good sort of snug fit, that one's a little bit loose, so I'm just going to go and give it a bit of persuasion with the pliers just to carefully close up the... don't overdo it, just give it a little bit of a tweak. Just squeeze them down. Oh yeah, that's lovely. So we're just going to rest it. We're going to park it in there. There you go. So we had to put some, to make this start up again, we had to put the wet cloths back inside because it won't turn on the heating. But now there's a definite vibration going on. You can feel it, it tastes like a vibrator. About the same frequency, but much less convenient. Yeah, it's chattering away, it's compressing now. There's quite a noise as well, you can hear it very clearly that it's going. So yeah, it's fixed. It's that capacitor, which we thought it was because it was open circuit. So I'm just going to I can feel the heat. Yeah, I can feel it. It's working. So it's fixed. What we're going to do is just do a quick check of the condenser while we're here, and you've got it in bits. You might as well, if you have an air gun, you can blow the fluff out and to give it a little bit of a once over, a bit of a service if you like. Check your belt is not split, cracked or frayed, because you might as well change that while you're here. We'll cover that in a different video. And also check the condenser at the front, because these do get locked up, and a few of the ones we picked up have almost been totally blocked, and the problem has been with the performance is the condenser is not got adequate airflow going through it. And if it's blocked, it can ice up, and then you end up with a block of ice and there's no airflow, and the thing just chunters on for hours, okay? So this is working now. This is getting warm, I can feel some heat in the pipes, it's clearly vibrating, it's going. So we'll glue that back in there, and then we'll check the condenser in a moment. Just, you should check yours, so we're going to check it and show you how to check the condenser. So anyway, on to the next thing. Right, anyway, so yeah, just a quick daub of the old silicone on here. This is just going to plant it down there, let that set, okay. Incidentally, this is good stuff. It's HA6 marine grade silicone sealant. It's about 3 tubes for £15 on Amazon. Bloody marvellous stuff. Fantastic. Use it all over the place. Very happy with this stuff indeed. Very good. And if you want to keep your nozzle clean or unblocked, you just put the plastic bag or something plastic and just inject a marble-sized blob onto the end of the nozzle, and that will keep it fresh for next time. This will set like rubber. When you pull that off, it will pull out the little plug in the middle, and away you go again without having to dig out your nozzle. So it's a silicone tip. Thanks for watching. If you can go down to the bottom of the corner to the like button, that'd be great, and if you subscribe, we'd appreciate it. Good luck with fixing your tumble dryer. That's it.